Hello and welcome to SuperHero Sanctum
An offshoot of the PCVG starring Waha.
and Tetris,
The idea is we pitch each other superpowers.
and round out a superhero based on,
Each episode will be at least 10 minutes long,
but each power will be several episodes.
depending on how long we decide to talk about them.
Stay tuned and enjoy
the first episode.
The first superhero that we're talking about is actually a nice tragic case called the force superhero concept. And the idea would be like a force superpower, like Superman's abilities or like Batman's knowledge, would be this incorporeal thing that would seek out an individual, force them to become that superhero 24 hours a day, living in the Batcave, forgetting their entire old life, and then once that person dies, it takes over a new individual.
So basically, like a lich, in some sense of the word. They go on their basic superhero business, and the superhero would be immortal in the sense of that, like, suit, cape, and, general superhero title, it continues to go on. I'm sure it makes it very confusing for whoever he's up against. They, like,
They killed them.
him, and they think they're perfectly fine. And then maybe a day or so later, maybe even less, depending on how far away whoever's taken over is from the Force Cave. Because we should probably stop using established superheroes as, like, reference points. Yeah, sadly, it's just too easy to do.
Well, and that's how we're going to describe a lot of this stuff. But I don't think that's a problem as long as we don't name him like Batman. I mean, forced superhero, forced man, something that all that sounds wrong to me. But where does this guy come from? Who was the first forced man? Is the question I think is the real important thing, because you want to establish who the person is that is traveling with the superpowers. Like, because the superpowers doesn't take over Joe Blow, and then Joe Blow forgets his family, but suddenly has, superhero knowledge.
I don't know. Depends on, especially with this one, how far back you even want to go. This superhero could go as far back as, like, the 1800s, before the thousands. They could have traveled across the whole world, taking over whole different people.
And even this could be a disenfranchised or disembodied, like, alien species that's just kind of stuck on this planet and is making the best of the situation.
Yeah, the alien one would even make it easier to say have a sort of antithesis to him, like two separate beings that have basically the same power because they're the same race. And
they were on the same ship or whatever.
Yeah, and they're enemies of each other for one reason or the other. And throughout, they have an endless battle throughout history trying to permanently kill each other.
Yeah, I think that's the one that makes most, like, because I couldn't imagine another human taking over another person without them being, an egomaniac, and having no problem with taking someone away from their family and stuff like that. So the alien thing makes sense to me, and it could even be like he doesn't, if he could be incorporeal, he would, but he doesn't have a choice. He's sucked into each body.
It's just a natural reflex for him.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, it's his cycle of life.
Yeah, so he could be a brooding anti-hero, and his counterpart is an actual egomaniac willing to throw whatever body he's in currently to figure out a way to kill the other. Or even, like, since he knows the other one doesn't enjoy taking over other bodies, just kill him for fun.
Yeah, like murdering the bodies he's in, specifically to murder the bodies the other guy is in, and possibly maybe one day killing him. But that's what would he do after that? As a whole, like, it would be a Joker syndrome at that point. But I do like it. It has a lot of the elements. What would his name be?
I don't know, especially if he's alien. I like.
Well, what would people call him?
The Ghost.
The Ghost.
The Gray Ghost.
The Gray Ghost.
Like, the Gray's an allusion to that sort of alien mythos. Yeah. I don't know what the other one would be called then.
Oh, it could just as easily be like the Ghost of Wrath. Or like you could even go with one of the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Just, because of how powerful the figure itself is. He's just this reoccurring, takes over people, and it's just like he could even. It would be unknown that this is all going on. Both of their cycles is completely unknown to anyone else outside of them. That's the beauty of it. It's not like he leaves a calling card saying, "The Grey Ghost has taken over your husband. Fare thee well."
They just leave, but you know what he does leave? A corpse of that previous person. So it would eventually be figured out by somebody, maybe a government agency, that people are just randomly going and putting on this random suit and then going about that business and then dying. It's like Joe Blow, who had a very comfortable job doing God knows what.
Yeah, he doesn't even have to be in shape or anything. It would just be like, as soon as he's taken over, he's got superpowers. So then what would be the superpowers? Because, we're just talking about the figure itself and, like, who the mentality is. What superpowers would this person have?
I don't know. Just that is usually superpower enough. You can compare it to other superheroes in which there's, in Marvel, there's the Immortal Man, or Mr. Immortal, who, has the power to die and come back, but as himself. So, and the weird thing with that is it's not explained ever how he comes back. I don't think he even remembers how he comes back.
Sounds like Kenny. Well, that could be an illusion there. So I'd also say, like, advanced alien technology. At least one of them has to be slinging some advanced alien tech. So, like, he could have a super-powered suit that he just goes to and equips or whatever.
Yeah, like, they have some sort of... So they have... Yeah, it's just basic human, so there's really no power until whoever he takes over manages to get to their original alien ship or escape pod, which could, say, generate alien technology.
Or they modify Earth technology to fit their needs, and so they just have some bases or, like, supply drops that as soon as they are in their new body, they just kind of go to one of these different hangouts or drops to equip up some stuff.
Yeah. Would they come back anywhere near where they died? Or would it be completely random? It's like fucking working in Sanctum City and you get shot and you come back in Hong Kong. You've got to figure out how to, like, take some fucking 30 or 20-hour flight back to Sanctum City.
Well, and then the other question would be where they get money from, except that, from the bodies they take over. Or at least the Ghost of Wrath could totally do that, but the Grey Ghost wouldn't want to do that. So that would be the thing,
drain their bank accounts before, like,
their spouses or widows, basically, because they're widows at that point.
Oh, definitely, especially the Ghost of Wrath. He'd probably just kill him. Like, oh, I woke up to next to some bitch. Let me just fucking stab her.
Well, and, like, for convenience sake, he'd be like, "Oh no, I'm nowhere near where I need to be. Respawn, stab."
God just kills himself right there. It's like, where am I? Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe.
Stuff like that would be just... I mean, that's all just humor right there. So...
yeah, I'd have to say, especially in, like, that sense, you can't make a hero that death is pretty much, like, a non-issue, and then have him actually be taken seriously. Because the whole point in a lot of superheroes is that, sure, they're super powered, but they're up against super stuff that could still kill them. But Deadpool can't die, like, ever. Like, fucking ever. He has casual conversations with death. So, yeah, it's just hard for... And that other Marvel superhero, Mr. Immortal, He was part of uh, the like Salt Lake City Avengers or something like that. Some terrible super group with the like worst superheroes ever. Because basically he's just a normal guy who can't die.
Right.
A guy who can't die that gets taken seriously is Wolverine.
Yeah. Well, and then there's like the Immortals, or whatever you called them from like Sandman, where the whole point is they quote unquote can't die, but they totally can die. It's more like a, well, they're not supposed to, but they can totally die in very obscure ways. I mean, these guys aren't completely immortal, but they're most definitely generally immortal.
Exactly. It's not a matter of you can't shoot them and kill them. I mean, you can shoot them and kill that body, but he's going to come back. You it's a matter of having something that can say trap souls, which it comes down to a big rock paper scissors of superheroes, supervillains and like power in which like technology trumps like might and all right, hold on. Do you know which one usually trumps which? Because like magic tends to trump sheer force and sheer force tends to trump technology, so I guess technology trumps magic.
Yeah, that's what I learned from Rick and Morty.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
I need
there's
to
an
watch that
episode
show.
where the devil shows up with a haunted antique shop that he gives away, cursed items, and then Rick, being an arrogant asshole and stuff like that, opens up a shop across the street that uncurses the items for free. No, for money, because the
No,
devil's giving away for free, so he's charging money. You know,
huh,
just being Rick.
huh, I gotta check that out still.
Yeah,
But
that's a great show.
it leads into weird things. Like I think a lot of Hulk's enemies end up being magic, which is weird.
Oh yeah, like a lot of them end up being magic because it's the only thing he can't do anything against. That's why he faces against like Thor's enemies a lot.
And well, isn't Modoc Thor or Hulk as well?
I'm not sure about
Jeez, ugh, God, it's
that.
just
Anyways,
complicated.